Those are the Arkells with a song called Oh, the Boss is Coming. They're here tonight at the Capitol, and they're at Zappa's Lounge in Kingston on Friday night. It's coming up to 12 minutes after 3 o'clock, and this is All in a Day. It's an art exhibit with a pretty ear-grabbing title, Touched by Fire, the art show you have to be crazy to enter. The exhibit opens tonight at the Royal Ontario Museum in Toronto, and it's organized by Mood Disorders Association of Ontario. One of the pieces hanging on the wall there is a photo taken by Ottawa's Mikey G. Mike has an anxiety disorder, and he's a client of Centre 507 here in Ottawa, but he is also a photographer. Michael Garricky, a.k.a. Michael G., joins me in studio. Mikey, how are you?
I'm great.
Thanks for
having me here.
Now, you've given me a copy of the picture that's on the wall of the ROM tonight. Can you describe it for me, what was happening here in this picture?
Well, it's a photo of the ice covering the Ottawa River, taken in December of 2009. In the background, you see the Alexandra Bridge. In the foreground, you see the coastline of the Ottawa River and certain features of the ice and a section where the ice had partially melted.
When you came across this scene down below the Parliament buildings and that pathway, that's where the picture is from.
Exactly.
Did you know immediately you had a good shot there? What was your experience when you encountered that scene?
Well, I shoot about, maybe like 20, 30 photos, let's say walking around. And then when I come home later, I choose the ones that I like best and edit them on the computer to my satisfaction.
Okay. It's good. We were talking before we went on the air, but it's a wintry day with a lot of flat light, but you've put a lot of color into it. It's a really nicely put together picture.
Thank you very much. I use a computer software editing program to enhance my photos and enhance the colors because I like bright colors.
Yeah, cool. How did the picture get from your camera and your the photoshopping into the exhibit? How did that happen?
Well, Margaret Johnson, the social worker at Centre 507, she suggested to me that I might wish to enter this art show in Toronto. And I sent them 10 sample images on the internet. They chose that one as, eligible for the show. And I was very pleased to have it printed and mounted and sent it off to Toronto.
How big a print did they make of it?
11 by 18.
Oh, nice. What was your reaction to see it nice and blown up big like that?
It looked really good mounted. You just don't get the same effect looking at it on a screen.
Yeah, and the exhibit, catalog here, it's kind of a smaller version too. It's about the size of the window on the back of your camera. Probably looks like what it did nearly on the day you took it. It's about that size.
Yes.
What do you think about the exhibit itself? It's called the art show you have to be crazy to enter. How do you feel? How do you feel about that title?
Well, I think it's tongue in cheek there. Yeah. That slogan they use. It's presented by the Mood Disordered Artists of Ontario, the Mood Disordered Artists Association of Ontario, and having personally survived years of anxiety attacks, and thank you, Paxil, I'm doing much better now. I was pleased to enter, and I was very pleased that they chose my photo to be exhibited at the ROM.
How does photography work with, you say your mood disorder is under control, you're doing fine, you're on the radio right now, and you seem totally fine.
I haven't passed out.
You don't seem anxious at all. How does the photography help with that? Does it put you in the zone, or is there something that you like about the escape of taking pictures?
I guess I like to put my own personal interpretation on a scene. The anxiety used to prevent me from getting out of the house very often, but thankfully it's much better now. But I've always been one that enjoyed intellectual pursuits on my own, reading, writing, photography, and I'm a bit of an artistic type, so photography just suits me great. I can go around town, snap a bunch of pictures, go home and edit them, and sometimes I'm really blown away by the results.
It's a nice way to spend a day, eh? Just to go shoot some shots and then come and see what you've got.
It's a great hobby.
Yeah. Where do you like to shoot? Where do you like to go in the city?
Well, you might say Parliament Hill is one of my favorite spots because I've got so many shots from Parliament Hill. The Tamil protest, Canada Day celebrations, President Obama's visit. But Ottawa is a really interesting town with a lot of historic architecture, and I'm able to find things of interest just about all over town, whether it's graffiti, motorcycle, hot car in the parking lot. it's all fodder for photo editing, and it's what I like.
Do you ever do portraits, straight up portraits? I mean, it sounds like you're a photojournalist in a way. I mean, all the events you photograph, you're hovering around the hill all the time. There's always something going on. Do you ever do just straight up portraits? I've
tried a few, and I've been pleased with the results. I still need a bit more work on portraits, but you're right. The photojournalism aspect of photography interests me very much, and I do like covering prominent public events.
Yeah, those days like when Obama was on the Hill, that was it was an amazing.
That was incredible.
Yeah. What do you? I mean, so that's you and your connection to photography. What do you hope that people who maybe will see it at the ROM tonight or who see your work, what do you hope they get from your pictures?
Well, I hope that they enjoy, for instance, in this photo, Ottawa River Ice, the natural scenery that I've depicted, and that perhaps they notice how I've adjusted the photo slightly to not have such a realistic aspect, but more of an artistic aspect to it. So for me, it's a way of showing my interpretation of a realistic scene and attracting some eyeballs to the computer screen.
Mm-hmm. It surprises me to look at that picture and to realize it's in a city of 1 million people, that you're 100 feet away from the Parliament buildings, but it looks like one of Tom Thompson's springtime ice compositions. Like you could be in Algonquin Park with that picture. I mean, you don't see the Alexandria Bridge too close, and so it looks like you're out in the middle of the bush.
It's true. Often I'm amazed. I could take pictures in downtown, and there might not be anyone around at that moment, and it looks like the place is deserted, but it's a hustling, bustling metropolis and the national capital of Canada.
Yeah. Will you get to see the exhibit at some point at the Royal Ontario Museum?
Unfortunately, no. But I've promised myself that I'll save up and attend next year for sure.
Oh, that's a good idea. What are people doing at Centre 507 to mark your new celebrity, your fame, and your involvement in this?
Well, today at 1 p.m. we had a slideshow of Mikey G. Ottawa's photos. And I brought in a DVD slideshow that I'd made at home on the computer of 100 of my most popular photos from Flickr.com. Huh. And we played that on the big screen TV in the hall, and everyone seemed to enjoy it, and I was very pleased. I had a great time. Thank you.
I bet. I can see why. I've got the address for some of your online work, and I'm going to give that out. But I appreciate you coming in and showing the work and talking about it. It's neat.
I thank you very much.
Thanks, Mikey G. It's Michael Garricky. He's a local photographer and a client of Centre 507. Now, you can check out this work at flickr.com/Mikey G Ottawa. That's all one word. And for more information about the Touched by Fire exhibit, go to touchedbyfire.ca.